down move down into the 59 area. We're back above the highest monthly close, which is 61.5. That's an important level to watch. We are about not even halfway through October yet, so there's still plenty of time to go. I think that most likely we move up and we have a very strong green monthly candle at one point, but by the time we close green, but not with a crazy move. Something like a candle like this, where it has a lower wick and an upper wick, and it closes green, but not near the highs. And then November is a consolidation, a sideways, a kind of building energy, and then December, January is where we kick on. I think that's my best guess at the moment. All subject to change, of course. So, ETH is doing absolutely nothing. Just forget about ETH until something happens. Solana, same thing, not doing much. Forget about Sol until something happens. And ETH BTC, still dead. No matter how many times people want to say it's coming back, it's just gone to shit. It will come back at some point. It will have a rally at some point, but this just gets into the whole thing of the last 2 years has been that. Oh, it's going to rally, it's going to rally, it's going to rally. Just wait. Wait. It must have been here, was it? September or was it December where I just said, wait for ETH's weekly bands to go green and then you should get a significant period of outperformance. It's tempted it, it's attempted, it's flirted with it, it's had the ETF launch and none of it was able to flip it. Bitcoin still wins. Just stick with Bitcoin till then. Bitcoin dominance, look at it. Feast your eyes on this, despite all the small cap memes, and they are small cap. There's no multi-billion memes running. There's 10 mil going to 100 mil. There's 100 mil going to 500 mil. There's nothing big happening in meme land, despite what you might see on Twitter. It's a lot of low liquidity stuff, which is good. Like, you don't want to see all the capital flowing into solely memes and Pepe and Whiff doing 5Xs and all this kind of shit, because that's a more end of cycle type thing. This is very clearly still a Bitcoin market, as you can see by Bitcoin dominance. And stocks. They closed the week at all-time highs for the S&P, the Nasdaq slightly below. The dollar rally has continued. I mentioned this the other day. Watch out for the dollar rally. Dollar rally right up into the bands. Inefficient move up. I expect the dollar will top out somewhere around here in the next few weeks, probably until near the election, and then starts to head lower again, especially if Trump wins, for sure. If Kamala wins, maybe slightly less likely. The expectation of a Trump win is much more weak dollar, which is good for risk assets. Gold consolidating just above its previous all-time highs, and crude oil. There's a lot of hype around oil with the war fears, but really, what has it done? It's come back down into local lows, bounced up into a bearish retest as of right now. The daily bands are bearish. It's not in a downtrend. It's been sideways since 2022. So obviously, whichever way this breaks is very important. Oil breaking out above 88 and oil breaking down below 66 are the two big places where it matters. Everything in between is just noise. If it goes above 88, that's like a major inflation signal, which is not going to be good for risk assets. Mostly, it's not driven by actual supply-demand dynamics at the moment. It's more driven, this rally, by the fears that, oil fields are going to get attacked in the Middle East, that oil-producing nations are going to cut back on production and manipulate the price of oil to affect their enemies and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot of, and I'm not an oil trader, but, when you read about it, you hear people, talk to people who are, you read about oil, what do you call it, moves in the past. There's so much misplaced fear. If you think FUD in crypto is bad, imagine being an oil trader where every other week people are telling you it's like World War III or something's going to be attacked or OPEC's going to cut production or blah, blah, blah. It's like so much bullshit and rumors and nonsense that you can't expect it to always be. It's like the Chud Jack meme, nothing ever happens. Because every week there's going to be some fear article telling you about how this is the absolute worst thing ever, and then nothing ever happens. Until something does happen, like COVID. Something definitely happened there. Anyway. VIX So we looked at volatility over the last little while. It's coming. It seems to be coming off a little. October of election year still has heightened volatility, so wouldn't necessarily say this is uh, done yet. If you start to see it move back down, though, definitely you're looking at a lower volatility move, which is going to be good for risk assets. Volatility as a whole is rising, though. Throughout the post-COVID, it was really on a one-way path lower, and this is it spiked up this year, peaking with the fears around the Japanese yen carry trade and the recession fears and all that. And then now, here we are, it's still elevated. So it's not nothing. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Because another big spike in volatility is going to definitely negatively impact risk assets, just how it goes. So keep that on your radar, but don't over analyze it. Yield curve inversion, a lot of people talk about this. It's reverted back. So what's been happening across the markets this week? Moo pumping. GM to moo. Too early still, in my opinion. So, where are we at? What else is moving? Apu continuing. Very nicely, by the way. Mog, I had my eye on. Mog seems like it could be the next one to go. Keeping an eye on it. Other alts, not much. Not much really happening across the rest of alt land. Just trying to... BitTensor the exception, I guess. They're just sort of... Most of them are just trying to put bottoms in. Obviously, Sui's near the highs, but... Say, that's a pretty decent flip. I would say Say from here might be one of the next to run if you see something other than memes running. Could be bottoming, flipped, held. If it gets above this level, that would be a breakout from the bottoming range. And you probably see it trend up towards some of the resistance up here. So if you saw that, you might see a move up on Say before a pullback. So you might get another push as the market starts to break out. This kind of thing is probably like your later stage rally sign, as I don't think the full bottom has formed yet. I don't think it's going to go to like all-time high. Sui has already shown that, but Sui's the outlier. Like Say hasn't done it, Aptos hasn't done it, Celestia hasn't done it, so the rest of them are probably laggards. There might be a bit of a catch-up trade, but usually if that happens, it's a sign of later stage rotation. That's about it. GM. Little Saturday overview. Today we have weekend workshop. An absolute banger today. Advanced mean reversion and range trading. So if you want to understand when not to trade ranges, how to identify ranges better, when to trade just a consolidation instead of a range, because in bootcamp you learn about horizontal ranges, which are absolutely the best thing to trade if they form, but they don't form that often, because if they form correctly, you get some very easy, simple trades where you have false breakout, retest, other side of the range, you have clear support, clear resistance. I'm going to show you instead today how to trade all of this stuff. This kind of stuff that's not trending and that it's not a range, that it's moving in different directions, sloping and everything. You can trade this. Looks like an absolute mess. Everything can be traded. Also, you shouldn't always trade it. So I'll tell you when to trade it, when not to trade it. Exact strategies for how to do it. That is at 4 p.m. UTC. Be there. GM.